That's Ryan. Below me is Stan. This is the Bearded Gooner Show Arsenal Transfer Weekly. Let's get into it. How's it? Welcome to another episode of the Bearded Gooner Show. I am he, the Bearded Gooner, Ryan and Stan. Thanks for coming on board, boys. How are you this evening?
No football, so it's a little boring. But in America, the Lightning and the Columbus Blue Jackets just went to 5 overtimes. A goalie had 85 saves, which is pretty fucking insane.
Needed to make an 86th, and they'd still be playing. Stan, yourself?
All good, mate. It's an early evening here in Vancouver. Very quiet.
Yeah, it's only about 7 o'clock out there. It's getting to be about the golden hour for you out there. So
it is.
So we're just going to keep things casual here tonight, boys, and just talk a little bit about some of the transfer rumors that are making the rounds, and I don't want to spend too much time on the usual suspects, the Thomas Partey, Willian. I mean, at this point, I have to think that's just about a done deal. I was kind of hoping that these things, at the very least, we would have had Willian done and announced by now, as well as Aubameyang's contract extension. But no such luck. So I guess we'll just have to keep speculating that this is all getting done. So Thomas Partey, no real change there. I don't know what you guys have heard or seen making the rounds. Ryan, I know you kind of pay attention a little bit to the Arsenal Reddit stuff. Let me bring Rowan in here. There he is.
Guys.
How are you, sir? How was dinner?
Dinner was all right. We just managed to get it in time.
No worries, man. No worries at all. So I'm going to start real quick with Thomas Partey because it's actually the last little bit of transfer news that I heard, and I'll just get your guys' opinion on it. But nothing new to report. It's status quo. Atletico won all 50 million euros in the release fee or in the release clause. They want it all. They want it all up front. So no change there. The only thing with this is now I'm seeing the rumor of Alex Lacazette going to Atletico. That rumor seems to be gaining some momentum here. So I don't know. Maybe I'm an idiot, but if they're offering 30 for him, getting feedback. Hang on a minute. There we go. Sorry about that. If they're willing to give us 30 million for Alex Lacazette and Thomas Partey's release clause is 50 million, why would we give them 50 million only for them to turn around and give us 30 of it back? Why wouldn't we just, Lacazette 20 million for Thomas Partey? But Atletico don't seem, it seems to be one, they each seem to be their own transaction. You know what I mean? So Rowan, I'm going to come to you first on this because you're the lawyer. So is there, I mean, is it a contractual thing or is it just asinine that they would do this?
It might just be that they want to treat it separately because they want to show it separately in their books that this is an asset that has gone out in terms of their wages, etc. There might be a difference, obviously, because Lacazette's on higher wages than what Partey is at there. In terms of their image rights, etc., etc. So they want to take all of that into account and have it in one consolidated place. Maybe that could be a reason why they're doing it. An easier way, an easier cut is obviously to just say that this is what we value him at, and why don't you just why do we have to transfer things twice? That doesn't make sense to me. But maybe that's their thinking of it. To have a clean cut and to. From their perspective, and to know that these are the image rights. This is what my entire cost was, and I don't want to bake in Partey in there. Maybe that's the idea. So
yeah, fair enough. Treating them as separate transactions, and there's a lot of other stuff that goes into that. Ryan, Stan, anything really to add on the Thomas Partey front? Anything you guys are hearing? Any comments or anything about it?
The only thing I've seen that was new to me today is he's demanding a $200,000 a week wage thing, which I thought was a tad surprising. I don't know. I don't know how
I
to feel
did.
about it.
Well, he's on 65 grand a week, and Arsenal have already said we will triple your wages. So I don't know if he's demanding that amount. We've already said that that's what we will do. That's the enticement of coming
I mean, if
to Arsenal. But I just don't see anything happening on Thomas Partey now until, you know, there's some kind of finality with Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, one way or the other.
Right.
And I think it's a good thing that Arsenal are trying to be respectful of that and not get in the way of that. Let all of that take its course, and then we'll see. But I mean, you know, they want the 50 million, but then there's talk of Alexander Lacazette. I mean, what I would do in that situation is I'd just go to the owner and say, look, we're going to go and get Thomas Partey. We've got 20 million. Can you lend us 30 million for a couple of weeks? As soon as we sell Alexander Lacazette, we'll give it back to you. I mean, there must be ways around it. I mean, if you know that you're going to be getting X back, I mean, surely you can get an overdraft facility from the bank. I don't know, bounce a check. I mean, there must be something that you can do for a few weeks, right, to just like bridge the gap, especially if you're Arsenal Football Club, you know, with backers behind you and you've got a billionaire sat in the big chair.
Yeah, to me, Thomas Partey, I feel like we wanted it to be easy. But the fact that, you know, it's kind of taking us a little time, I think they're going to kind of stall this deal out, and they're going to kind of make Thomas Partey the ribbon on the present, so to say, the bow on top of our transfer window. So hopefully, you know, to be honest, I don't even think he'll be the best signing we make, or potentially the best signing we make. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I know Rowan got excited today about the Thiago link. But yeah.
Is that okay? All right. Well, I got to ask now because I'm not going to remember later if I don't do it now. So what's the one that realistically that we've been linked with that's going to get you real excited?
Linked with?
Thiago will happen.
Yeah.
I think that he's played at Barcelona. He's a serial winner at Bayern. You know, he has the world at his feet. He can choose City or Liverpool, whatever. Like Pep wanted him a couple of years ago. So, you know, to me, it seems like it's unlikely to happen. I was excited to see that there was a rumor in which we got linked to him. He would be an absolute steal for whatever we could get him for. And he's made it clear that he doesn't want to stay at Bayern. So, you know, what I want to know at the end of it is that Arsenal tried. Maybe he doesn't want to come to Arsenal because he sees that, you know, he's also 29, right? He's reaching sort of that age when this is his last big contract. Maybe he's like looking for more titles, etc. And we know that we are a team in transition still, right? So we aren't going to be able to offer him the potential UCL glory that he's seeking with Bayern this season, the annual league that he gets with Bayern and previously with Barcelona. Maybe he's not going to get that, but maybe we can entice him with a challenge. You know, Arteta's Spanish as well. Maybe that has some sort of an influence. I mean, if that happens, that's going to be the biggest signing because that's going to take care of a lot of our midfield issues. The midfield right now is dead and it's scary.
And you said it perfectly, Rohan. You know, if talking about it, Arteta might like him. Arteta might talk to him. I think that will that'll be a big key piece, key cog to the whole transfer. I think I've said in another podcast. I think Arteta needs to kind of pull a Wenger here and kind of talk to these players, let them know what's up. And I obviously we read all these bullshit articles, but I read that he wants to go to Liverpool, but Liverpool definitely don't need him. So I think Arteta kind of slides into his DMs and goes, "Hey, buddy, what's up?" He kind of lays his plan. He kind of lays his plan out there and see what happens.
Every team needs Thiago. Like Liverpool's midfield right now is a functional midfield. With him, it will become a scary midfield.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to be unstoppable if they sign him.
So I don't know how to say his name, but he's a Sky Sports journalist. I'm gonna say it, and if I butcher it, somebody correct me, and I apologize. Kave Solikol. I'm basically saying it the way that I think it's pronounced, but at any rate, if you go to Sky Sports Twitter page, he did a quick video, and Rowan, he said almost exactly what you just said. He ran through the Liverpool midfield, basically said they don't need him. they're going to offer Wijnaldum a new contract. They have Naby Keita, James Milner.
Milner.
I can't even remember, the litany of players that they have in the midfield. They don't need him. And this guy for Sky Sports basically said that the powers that be at Liverpool pretty much put the kibosh on it unless something dramatic happens. They've put the kibosh on going after him because they just don't need him, and they would look to spend the money elsewhere. So
this reminds me, what position does Thiago Alcantara play?
Sentiment.
Oh, well, we're not going to buy him then. We're not going to buy him then because he's not a winner. He's not a winner.
Everybody in the chat box is.
Yeah, I could see it happening if he was a winger.
Here's Steven. Yeah, what's it with Arsenal and all the wingers?
Exactly.
Like, the lad from Ajax is that. What's his name?
I was just reading one today, a Dutch kid today. I was reading that as well, Stephen. A Dutch kid. I can't remember what his name was.
Quincy.
Another winger.
Quincy.
Quincy something.
That's it, Quincy.
Oh, okay.
Quincy, the
and then Willie
Jack
Zaha.
Cookman.
If you guys haven't seen the Willie Zaha thing, just go and check that out. I'm fairly certain the three. No, we shared that in our little Twitter. Yeah, we've all seen that. So
Quincy,
for those of you watching, if you haven't seen
Zaha,
it, go watch it.
There's Zaha, there's Quincy, there's the young Portuguese lads that I've heard about as well. I mean,
yeah.
Willian's coming in as well. I mean, we just should change our name to Wingers FC.
To be fair, I think someone said in the comments, I gotta go scroll through, but I think Zaha's making these rumors up about him going to Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you saw if you guys watched the Twitter.
I think it was
video,
Tony that said it.
Yeah.
No, it was Gale.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is. I think Zaha's creating his own.
Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Zaha shows up first game this season in an Arsenal kit, ready to play for us. I wouldn't be surprised. He buys it from the shop. He just kind of hangs out. He goes, "Hey guys, what's up?" Kind of just
all right.
Stuff.
All right. So
I wouldn't hate it. But
what does Zaha go for in this market right now? 30. I mean, remember Palace last summer wanted what 80 million for him.
Yeah.
They said nothing less than 80 million. So what does he go for now? 30.
I think they're going to try to get 30. Again, it's all he could literally just put his foot down and be like, "I'm not playing for Palace anymore." Kind of what Aubameyang did.
Going to.
He kind of threw a little hissy fit and was like, "Let me go.
I think
Let me get out of here."
I think Zaha has a number of years left on his contract. It's not his last year right now. So
no, it's not.
Right.
So, and Palace, he is the most prized asset that Palace has, and they're not going to let him go for less than 50. I think still.
No, exactly.
But if he pulls
and we have this very big thing of putting up a value of our player and devaluing somebody else's player. For us, Maitland-Niles and Windowsy, etc., go for 30 to 40 million, and then we're saying that we get Zaha for 30 million. That's not happening, really. Right?
But time out. If you have a player on your team that doesn't want to play and goes, "I'm not playing. I want to go somewhere," you have to take what you could get at that point. You can't just be like, "Well, no, we're not selling 50 million." Okay, well then at that point your asset is it's not an asset anymore because he's not playing for you. He's not producing. He's not doing anything for your club. So why hold on to that 50 million? Which I agree with, and I think he does. They should get 50 million for him. But if he doesn't want to play, your hands are tied. He's got all the leverage in the world. Not all the leverage, but he's got a lot of it.
There's no point in Zaha digging his heels in because he doesn't even know whether Arsenal are interested in him, right? He could do all of that. Yeah. And Arsenal were just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Again, I think he slid into Arsenal's DMs and was like, "Hey, you see," he showed him the video, Zaha to Arsenal. He's laughing, he's smiling, he's having a good time at the club, had a few gin and tonics. He seems like a gin and tonic kind of guy. And he's just, like, I want to, and he's kind of like, "Hey, I'll do the work on my end. I'll get Roy to fucking let me go. You just got to work your magic, boys. Throw a couple 30 million my way. No big deal. We can get this done."
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's a lot of pieces that need to fit to do this. I'm not saying let's go for Zaha, but like 30 million for Zaha, I don't know. It's definitely. I'm not saying he'll go for 30 million, but definitely enticing.
I would love Zaha at Arsenal. He's a tricky player. He's a good player. He's proven in the Premier League. All of the things are right, but there are about 4 other positions that we have to fill before we go for a winger. That's the fact. And if we have money left over after that, go for Zaha. Get him.
I was just going to say, so if there's money left over after we address everything else, and let me piggyback real quick off Rowan because I agree 100%. I want Zaha and Arsenal. And here's why. For every reason that you just said, but one other thing. He wants to come here. When a player wants to,
it's very rare these days. Very rare.
Well, it's not just that, but it's just think about, because it's a business. This is their job. This is their profession. So they're the money thing. Look, if somebody were throwing money like that at us, I look at it and I say, if we're haggling over a few million pounds or a few hundreds of thousands of dollars a week, or a few tens of thousands of dollars a week between one team or the other, then I'm not going to go just to the highest bidder. I'm going to go to the team that I'd rather play for. But my point being, Zaha wants to play for Arsenal.
I want to play for Arsenal.
Well, but what I'm saying is, imagine the effort that he's going to give if we brought him in.
But where is he going to play? There's no room at the inn. There's no room at the inn. I mean, Willian has just made sure of that now.
We're really
I don't know. I think Arteta has a plan. I don't want to be Nostradamus, but I think he's going to play in the middle. I think he's going to play in the middle, which
I think he's going to move. I think he's going to try both Willian and Pepe in the middle.
I think it will be Willian or Saka that will play in the middle.
You see?
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. This is why I'd want to see Pepe in the middle, because out on the right, he's far too predictable. You know what he's going to do. If he cuts back in on his left, he's going to shoot. If you keep him out wide and you keep him going straight down towards the goal line, he's going to try to cross on his right foot. So I'd rather move Pepe in the middle to see if he could be a little more creative and a little more unpredictable. That's, or try to get his right foot as potent as his left foot, and then you never know.
And listen, I'm not a genius at this. I don't want to act like I know, we're gonna move this here, this there, and I have all the answers. But to me, the way I look at it, we're not gonna sign everybody. Obviously, we're linked to. I get that. But to me, if that player makes us just a little bit better, I'm in. I'm sign me up. I'm good. The whole Willian thing. I don't really like this 3-year contract thing. I'm not a big fan of it, but he's gonna make us better next year. And if someone wants to fight me on that, go for it. 'Cause you have no proof that says otherwise. He led almost every Chelsea category, every major Chelsea category this last season, except for, I think, goals. He was tied for second. So, he's going to make us better. So let's just embrace it for now and then sell him to the MLS in 2 years.
The Willian thing, the one thing I see with the Willian signing, at least the naysayers on it, is, he's not the guy he's going to be 3 years from now. He's a good player right now, and he's going to help our club. So I'm all right with it. And in the 3 years, okay, you know what? Hopefully we could sell him then, And Stan, I think it was you who brought up the other day, a 10 million pound signing on bonus for him. He comes in on a free, but if he's getting the signing on bonus, isn't it kind of a wash anyway? At the end of the day, is he a 10 million? Would you have bought him for 10 million pounds? Because that's effectively what we're doing. Anyone?
You don't really get a lot these days for 10 million, do you? Really?
Right.
It's usually a young unknown, a gamble, or somebody who's basically coming right to the very end of their career.
Right.
And we think that
which he is.
Yeah, exactly. And we think that Willian's not at the end of his career.
Listen, like I said, he's gonna make us better. I think he can maybe play. Definitely, he's gonna have a good year next year, unless he just can't find his footing with us. But if he does, I think he maybe could up his. I shouldn't say up because he's just getting older, but I think we could sell him on. We could sell him for something, which I think at this point that's what we want. We want to bring someone in that we can maybe sell for a little something. And let's not forget this. And to all us Arteta hype train, people still riding that train. He wants him. Arteta wants him. Arteta says, "I want Willian." He has a plan for him. So like to me, I'm all aboard, baby.
Right.
Choo choo. I'm riding first class. I'm all in. If he thinks he's the guy, if he wants him on this team, then I'm gonna have to open my legs and trust him.
Ryan,
There's nothing I can do.
you've just said something I was going to ask everyone. So let me ask you. I mean, am I to believe then that Mikel Arteta, this young, forward-thinking manager that we have, who's going to be, one of the new breed of styles of manager, am I to believe then that when he was looking ahead then that next season and looking at the squad and looking at what he needed, he thought to himself, you know what we could really do with? We could do with Willian from Chelsea. And he went into Raul Cinieri's office, knocked on the door, and he said, listen, I think there's a prospect that we might be able to get Willian on the free. Can you try and make this happen? Am I also supposed to believe that he looked at the situation of what he wanted to build and he went into Raul Cinieri and also said to him, oh, yeah, David Luiz, please, whatever it takes, give him a year extension because that's what I really need? Or do you think it was a case of Raul came in to see Mikel Arteta and he said, there might be a chance that I can get Willian. What do you reckon? And Mikel Arteta went, is that what we can really do? He's like, well, we can get him on a free. We can get him on a free.
So I'll tackle the David Luiz thing first and get out of the way. I think I don't agree with us extending him. Let's just get that out of the way. I don't want him. I didn't want him. I didn't want him in the first place. But we re-signed him and he took a pay cut. We're paying him less. So we're going to pay, and let's face it, at different spurts of the season, he's been our best defender. He's a leader to a lot of people. So I think there's a lot of pros to his game, on and off the pitch. And you're telling me we're going to extend his contract by only 1 year and we're going to pay him less money, especially when we have all these injuries, Mari, Holy's coming back from a big injury, Chambers, I'm sure there's a couple that I forgot, but I think to me it's good business. Do I agree with it as someone who has conceded the most penalties in an entire Premier League season? No, I don't. But again, I think maybe they had their blinders on a little bit and kind of was like looking at the pros and like, oh, well, we have all these pros and we're going to pay him less. So I don't hate it as much as everybody else does. But with Willian, I think only Kevin De Bruyne and I want to say Alexander Arnold are the only people this season in the Premier League that have created more big chances. I don't know what big chances are. I don't know. But yeah, so and you're telling me we're going to get him on a free? I mean, to me, it makes a lot of sense. So I'm not saying I really want him. I think Willian's the answer. No, but he makes our team better. We're getting him on a free, and 130,000 a week ain't that bad. I don't hate it.
But again, though, the question is, do you honestly believe that all of this was conceived and hatched by Mikel Arteta, who was sat up late at night, looking at the team, looking forward, and this is what he identified? And you can throw Cedric into that as well, that he came up with all of that on his own, and he went in there with his list and said, this is the plan going forward. He always talks about his clear plan. Is his clear plan Willian, Cedric, and the other chap?
I think for the money we're bringing in and like the money, I think we want to try to spend as little as possible. And I think with COVID and everything, it's dampened that even more. So I think Willian's a smart buy. I know and I think people's biggest gripe with this whole Willian thing is, oh, he came from Chelsea. He's a Chelsea reject, just like Czech, just like Alas, just like David Luiz. So it's like I get that, but we're the guys I previously mentioned were players that Chelsea did not want. They're like at the end of their rope, and Willian could be at the end of his rope, but Chelsea wanted him. They just couldn't agree on a contract extension. He wanted 3 years, Chelsea wanted 2, whatever the case may be. Chelsea wanted to hold on to him, and for a good reason. I mean, like I said, he in all major Chelsea categories, he led the team in all of them except for goals. So I mean, I think if it came from any other team, I think most fans will be looking at this transfer differently.
So
Robin.
I have a view on this. Stan, we'll get the answer at the end of the window, at the end of the transfer window. What could have happened is that Arteta has said that, I need somebody in attack to bolster my attack, but what I really need is the midfield and defenders. So that's where I'm going to spend the cash And maybe I will, instead of going for a Zaha, go in for a Willian, which saves me, let's say, 20 million, and that 20 million is going to get invested somewhere else. This theory can only be tested and will be proved true or false at the end of the window when we see we've actually spent on midfielders or defenders or not. Because if you tell me that the only signings that we make are, Willian and a couple of other youngsters, etc., unknown quantities, then we don't sign defenders, we don't sign, real upgrades on midfield, we just extend Ceballos' loan, then I'm going to say that no, then probably it wasn't his first choice and he's been arm twisted into it. But if we do really show action there, then I think that it might have been just a question of, yeah, I'll make do with this because there are bigger fires to extinguish somewhere else.
Exactly. I think that's the biggest thing. You want to try to listen. Our team's it needs a big rebuild. Tear this shit up, rebuild it. And I think at this point we need to use our money wisely. We want to kind of see if we can get on. I think we kind of want to spend our money almost like, I don't know, it's like a pyramid, like an escalator. I don't know. Like at first you want to see, okay, who can we get in for the cheapest on a free, quick, easy, and can make our team better? Willian checks those boxes. Willian is coming in on free and he's making our team better. So I don't necessarily want him. I just don't like his attitude when things don't go his way. But again, I just think looking at it from like a financial standpoint, and again, making our team better. And also on top of that, let's face it, we are not gonna be better overnight. It's not gonna be this transfer window and we're fighting for the league title. It's not gonna happen. We're gonna have to add a few players on our team that'll make us better, just almost like sustain us, to kind of almost like get us in the Champions League, to kind of slide in that fourth spot. And then, if let's just say, because I think Willian can definitely help us get fourth place next season. And if we could do that, we get more money. And if we get more money, we can maybe replace Willian with a better player. So, and I think, like Ryan said, I think we need to use our money wisely. And I think we need to use our money for positions that we really need, like a defensive midfielder, like a center back. So I don't know. I feel like I'm convincing myself that I really like this Willian signing, which is strange. Anyway,
talking yourself into it.
I know.
So Stan, let me answer your question. I think you're half right. I'm not going to say I think you're half wrong. I just think you're half right. I think somewhere in the middle of your two examples or your two situations lies the answer. I think Raul comes to Mikel Arteta and says, okay, here's the deal. We can re-sign David Luiz for one more year. We can lower his wages, and that'll sort of solve the depth issue that we will have at center back, especially if we sell anyone. Because right now we have exactly 3 healthy center backs. David Luiz is one of them. So it's actually, as it stands right now, no, 4, excuse me, because we have Saliba. But it's right now it's actually looking like a halfway smart deal because we need that depth right now. But I think he comes to Arteta and says, this is what we can do. Does he work for you? Do you want to keep him on this situation? And I think Arteta says it's not a bad situation. I like what he brings in the dressing room. So if it's a financially viable contract, then let's do it. On Willian, it's a free transfer. We don't know any of the particulars of it. I know that we've speculated on the signing on, the sign-on bonus. So at the end of the day, I think for this season, he makes us a better team. As you and I talked on Sunday on another show, on Ray's show, Arsenal Fan Circle, he's a dangerous player on the ball. A lot of people get caught up in just goals and assists and just looking at that. Yeah, I mean, look, the ball's got to go in the back of the net, otherwise you're not going to win. But Willian is a dangerous player when he's on the ball. So I don't hate it. I am anxious to see the terms, and I'll wait to pass judgment then. But I think in that situation, Raul comes to Arteta, says, okay, here's the deal. Chelsea are only going to give him 2 years. He wants a third. He's free. What do you think? And I think on these particular situations, I think there was probably a fair amount of dialogue between the two. And I do think that Mikel Arteta was on board. Because if he wasn't, I feel like we're going to hear that. Like Rowan said, at the end of the window, I feel like we're going to know. You know what I mean? If Mikel Arteta was on board or not. Because if he's not, he's been pretty brutally honest to this point in terms of, look, we need a big investment. You know, we need to build. And remember one other thing he said too, and I can't remember which game it was after, but we need a big squad. So let's all keep that in mind as well. One of his post-game comments that we also need to have a big squad to be able to compete in the competitions that we're going to compete in.
I mean, I get we have to shop smart. We have to look at what's happening in the market.
Yes, smart. Sorry.
And obviously, you know, looking for the best deals and free players are always handy. But it baffles me when I see this. I see some players that we bring in on a free. And I see who they're managed by, who they're represented by, and the sort of money that we're going to pay. And then I look at the other side of it, and I'm like, we're looking at this Gabriel guy for like 27 million, which for us, 27 million is a lot of money. Meanwhile, for the last couple of months, you know, why can't we have spoken to Mangala Sarr? He's a left-sided centre-back. He's of an age. He's actually 4-3 as well. And it's almost like we're not interested in even taking a look at that. We're not even entertaining it because we're only looking at certain players that come from a certain pool or they're managed or represented by certain people or clubs that we can do a better deal with. It's ridiculous.
On the Malang Sarr thing, the only thing I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, just a little bit of devil's advocate here, but I heard that he had his heart set on going to Italy. So if you had, I mean, maybe we kicked the tires on it. Maybe his agent came back and said, yeah, he's not going to want to go. He doesn't want to go to England. You never know. You know, we're not privy to what goes on behind the scenes as much as I would absolutely love it. Like this is, Ryan and I were talking before you guys got in here. Man, I thrive on this stuff. I really do. Like not necessarily the rumors, because the rumors and the journos over there drive me nuts with their lack of integrity. But the idea of roster building, I love this stuff. I seriously, and we're not going to go much longer, but I could do this all night, seriously. So,
and the one thing I will say, I don't want to talk about Willian anymore, but a lot of, I don't want to point any fingers because out of you guys, I don't really know, but a lot of Arsenal fans were talking up Ryan Fraser from Bournemouth last year. Oh, we're going to get him on a free. Like, let's just get him on a free. He's going to help us out. So to those fans, like you think Ryan Fraser is going to help us more than Willian? I think you're fucking nuts if you do. Willian's a proven player. Ryan Fraser, he's all right. He could be better. I know Ryan Fraser's younger, but I think Willian's going to make us better the next year. Ryan Fraser, squad player, maybe he'll get some game time.
I want to move away from Willian only because like I said, I just like 45 minutes here tops. I don't really want to go too long, but the Willian thing makes us better this year, and hopefully brings Bukayo Saka on a little bit more as well in this year. So we see a transition in the second year from Willian to more Bukayo Saka. You know what I mean? So I think we're going to get more Willian than Saka this year if this happens.
Left mid. I don't think Willian's going to. I think Willian would probably be like a left forward or a center forward or a center midfielder. I think Saka should. I think he's best for us, in my opinion.
I think he's best on the left. That's that. I want to see him. I want to see him through the middle, but I think he's he's best for us out wide on the left. So anyone else on Willian before we move on here? Because Stan, that's a great segue into because he was next up on the list. So Rowan, any more on Willian? No. So Gabriel and again Magalhaes. Okay. Kid out of Lille, 22 years old. Actually, I've got his. So a couple of real good scouting reports here. If you guys are interested, in fact, I'll drop it in the comment box for you guys right now. The first one is from Football Whispers, and I'm actually going to give them a shout out because actually they actually do a really good job. I like what they do over at Football Whispers. Everything's based out of 10. And if it's the closer to 10 it is, the more likely it is to happen. And those guys with their rumors are usually they're pretty spot on. They get a lot of that stuff right. Like I say, I'm going to drop these scouting reports on Gabrielle into the chat box down here. You guys can copy and paste these if you want to check them out. A couple of really good things. The other one's from breakingthelines.com, and that's actually they actually are talking about Manchester United's interest in him, which they apparently got interested a while ago in this kid. So, but I like the idea of bringing this kid in because he's young, based on the scouting reports that I read, because I didn't know a whole lot about him. He's still a little raw. You'll see that if you read the BTL scouting report. But he's got it. Both of these websites, Football Whispers and BTL, both think this kid's got what it takes. He's still a little raw. And I think overall defenders mature a little more slowly than more forward-thinking players. I think the prime for a defender is more towards his late 20s and his early 30s. Because I think there's just a maturity that goes with playing that position. Midfielders and attackers. I have midfielders in their mid-20s, attackers, kind of the same thing. But defenders seem to really come into it sort of towards their late 20s. So I like what I see from this kid, or the scouting reports that I've seen on this kid. So I don't know if you guys have seen anything on him. I'll open it up. Rowan, go ahead and you can take off first on this one.
I mean, don't know a lot about this guy, really. I haven't seen him play, to be honest. I mean, I've read good things about him. The question is right now with, we need numbers. That's one. And we need to clear out, because we've tried and tested some of these guys and they just haven't worked out for us. It's just, let's just move them on and let's get new guys. But, you need some experience as well, because let's not forget that we have Saliba coming in next season. And
Rowan, hang on real quick. I'm sorry, I got to interrupt you. Hold your thought. But Steven, well done. Well done.
Yeah, I wasn't laughing at you, right? I was laughing at Steven's comment. That was great.
Sorry, go ahead, Rowan. Sorry.
Yeah, so, he's a young guy as well who doesn't have any experience of playing in England. And, I mean, he's not been a pro for that long. So, how many young guys do we really need? And some guys who played at the top level. I don't know if this guy played at the top level. But, I mean, if the scouting reports, from what I have also read, they're positive. I mean, let's not forget that they were positive about Mustafi as well. When we had signed him. They said he's the next best German defender after Hummels and Boateng. And look how that turned out, right?
Easy, Rowan. He's a World Cup winner, all right? Come on.
World Cup winner. So yeah. I mean, we just have to hope, right? Like at this point, if we aren't going to go for, of course, we can't go for an Upamecano who's played in the Champions League, or we can't go for like Koulibaly, etc., etc. Then we have to go for these guys, and it's going to be a hit and miss. But one thing that I really feel, again, with this, with all of these signings that we're making, is that at one point now we have that attack. It seems likely that we're going to sign Aubameyang. We have an attack. Why don't we, for once, and FFP is out of the window this time, why don't we just splash the cash one time and try to make a good go for it? For the last 10, 15 years, I've been sick of the fact that we sometimes had the defense, but we didn't have the attack. Now we had the attack, we didn't have the defense. Why don't we just try to splash some cash and gel it together? It takes a while, but it doesn't need to take 4 years, right? Because if it takes 4 years for us, then just think about it. Aubameyang will be gone. Likelihood Lacazette will be gone. All of these guys. Then it's just
Willian will be signing a new contract.
Yeah.
Luis will be the head of youth. Things like that. So this is what is going to happen, and I'm just sick of it.
Rohan, I don't know what club you're a fan of, but I'm a fan of Arsenal Football Club, and we don't splash the cash. I don't know what that even means. So I don't know. I completely agree. But my thoughts on Gabriel I'm a fan. I don't watch him too much, but I know a little bit about him. Very good in the air, very good with his aerial duels, which is what we need. I think our best aerial duel is probably like Mustafi, and he's one of our shortest center backs. Holding's tall. He loses a lot of duels that he should be winning. He's a big guy as a unit. Definitely something we need. I would say negative thing about his game is he's raw. He still needs work on reading the game. But I think with Arteta, I mean, look what Arteta did with Mustafi. We joke, we give him shit, World Cup winner, whatever. He's made Mustafi a better player. Granted, it's just by him not going to ground every 5 seconds, but he got a lot better. So I think the situation with Gabriel, I think for the money, 30 million, I don't think it's a bad deal for someone that could be a key part of our defense for quite a while. I think he just needs, that Arteta-like figure, which is who we have. I think Arteta is kind of like a stepfather that'll put his arm around you and be like, son, it's going to be okay. And I think, at first it'll be like, you're not my dad. But at the end of the day, I think Arteta is going to really coach him up, and I think he's going to make something out of Gabriel. And I'm excited. I want him, even though I heard today that apparently Napoli is putting a higher bid than us, and I think he's going to Napoli, which would be quite a shame.
I heard that.
Well, I mean, again, we all know how this goes with the rumors and the journos over there. They put this stuff out, and who knows? The agent could have put that out there just to try to get a higher bid from Arsenal. So
I think that's what it is, because I think he wants to come here. Again, rumors, but apparently he really wants to go to the Premier League, and Arsenal is his destination. And apparently he snubbed United for us, which to me gives me a mess direction. Big up in my book. I want him.
One thing, Stan, real quick. I'll make it quick. I promise. Keep in mind, I think Arteta gets more out of younger players than he does out of the veterans on this club. So that's one of the reasons why I think we're looking at young players. I think he feels like he can coach these guys up, but also look at the Brazilian connection, the French connection, different connections throughout the club that we have, not only player wise, but Edu being Brazilian, and I have to think that he has a hand somewhere. Not just what's his official capacity, technical director. So he's basically the go-between from the academy to the first team and what have you. But Stan, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, I mean, if Arsenal were going to splash 30 million euros on Gabriel, then I think that they would go the whole hog and find somehow another 10 and go for Upamecano. I just don't see Arsenal splashing 30 million on someone like Gabriel. I don't think they've got the 30 million. And I think that if they were going to spend it, they'd want they'd want somebody more like a Cedric Suarez who's been proven in the league, or somebody of that kind of an ilk. I don't believe it. I think he's probably going to. In fact, I'll have a fiver and say that he goes to Napoli.
It's crazy too, and I don't want to go back to William. But
Ryan, hang on.
Yeah,
Stan, I'll take that bet.
Okay.
Oh, all right. We apparently condone betting in the Breeding Center.
It's everywhere. Are you kidding me? Listen, man, I'm going to be working on getting Fox Sports betting to sponsor this show at some point.
Oh, you would pick Fox Sports betting, you fuck. No.
I don't know. It was the first one. It was the first one that came to mind.
Don't want to get politics into it, but Jesus.
Oh, jeez. Here we go.
No, but as I was saying, William, I don't talk about William anymore, but it goes back to the William thing. It's like, okay, I know you're not, you don't say this, but like fans like bitch about William. He's too old. He's getting old. Da da da. But then it's like, we're gonna bring Gabriel for 30 million. Oh, he's too young. We need someone old and experienced. It's like, well, fuck you, Goldilocks. Like,
there's a balance, right? There's a balance.
There is a balance.
It's either
as a club, we're not in that position to get that balance right away. We're rebuilding.
It's either a Guendouzi, right, who's raw and who's played in like the fourth league in his country, same as Martinelli, running around playing keepy uppy with watermelons, or they're at the end of their end of the line at their club, and it's because it's like, well, I'd rather stay here, but if I can squeeze another year into my career over at Arsenal, then I'll just drive across the road and do that. there's a happy medium in there somewhere. There's the player that's maybe around 25, 26. You know, he's not yet quite at his peak, but he's past his baby steps and he's in that. You know, we don't really seem to go into that area. I mean, how old is Cedric Suarez? Where's he? Does he fit into that area? Pablo Mari, does he fit into that area?
I think they both do.
I don't know.
Pablo Mari's played in Brazil. Like, he doesn't. I mean, what he played? We played 1 year at Man City. I don't know. I don't think. I agree with you, Stan. I want that medium more than anybody else. I do. I'm marrying a Goldilocks, so I know how that is. But we're not in that. Hold on.
You know this gets recorded, right? Like, it doesn't disappear when I click it and broadcast.
On that occasion, I must be marrying one of the three bears. But continue.
Yeah, she is. Big bear.
This is man. I'm toast.
My point is I don't think we're in that position right now as a club, tearing it up, rebuilding. I don't think we're in a position to be like, not you. You're too big. You're too small. You're too old, too young. And with our money too. But Stan, listen.
You're right.
I listen. If it's up to me, I would. Oh, you extended Upamecano? Yeah. Well, guess what? I'm whipping up the checkbook. I want him because I do. I think he's the best fit for us. I think we need him, and I think he's going to make us the best. But I don't. That's off the table.
And just to reiterate my feeling on Willian, I'm underwhelmed with Willian, but I understand it. I get it. I know why he's coming in. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not overwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
But I'm not frothing about it. I'm not like, fucking hell, what the fuck? You know, there's other players that we've been linked with, or players that are still at the club that I saved that for. So, you know.
It's just, I'm telling you, and maybe it's in your subconscious. Maybe I'm wrong. I think the fact that he comes from Chelsea is really turning a lot of people off about this signing.
Not that.
I really do. But again, I will say I don't want him. I hate his attitude. I think when things don't go his way, he pouts and he bitches and he moans and he's just not the kind of player I want for this rebuild and for this team. You know, the whole Conte situation. He didn't get along with Conte, and then when they won, would they win the Euro? I don't even fucking know what they won. He conveniently photoshopped Conte out of the picture. So it's like I don't need that petty shit in my club. That's for damn sure.
When we signed Danny Welbeck, right? When I heard the news that we were signing Danny Welbeck, I was in one of those sort of moods, right? I was absolutely like steam coming out of my ears. But I tell you one thing, he won me over, Danny Welbeck. He surprised me. He really won me over. You know, I really wanted it. I really wanted things to go well for him. You know, if I hear his name, it still makes me have a smile. If I see anything about him that I'm reading, if I'm reading through something and I see his name, I'll stop and take a look because I'm interested to hear what's going on. Maybe Willian can do that. So, you know, I'm open. If the player can ingratiate themselves to me, do you know what I mean? I'm open to it. If I can take Danny Welbeck and from United, anything's possible.
Yeah,
I think everybody just take the Willian thing with, as Stan says, a pinch of salt.
A pinch
of salt.
I said grain. I'm so sorry, Stan. I just realized.
Yeah, it's just you're not. It doesn't blow your skirt up, but yeah, like you said, you're not frothing over it either. That was a great way to put it. You're not.
Again, he's a good last signing, not a good first signing.
I just hope the best case situation is that he doesn't become a Mkhitaryan situation, right? Like it doesn't become that. It's untenable if it becomes that. And I'm telling you, I think I said this before also. I have watched a fair amount of Chelsea, mainly to pick up a dirt on them because my best friend's a Chelsea supporter, and I have seen that he was terribly out of form for a long time. You know, him and Pedro were like, I'd watch like paint dry than watch them play. You know, and he's coming here. He's had a good time since lockdown. He's played well. He's
since the restart.
Thing because he takes penalties also now for Chelsea. For some reason, he's the penalty taker as well. So that's some stat padding that's happening there. But it's okay. I used to call him the shit Ronaldo. He's the shit Ronaldo. He's gonna come here. He's gonna try to do his tricks. He's just not as good as Ronaldo, nowhere close. But he's okay. But I'm more interested. This, to me, people can see it as glass half full by going for Zaha, etc., etc. I would say that hold your horses. Maybe this is the glass half full situation where Arsenal over the years we've made one or two big signings every summer, right? Like Lacazette. Then we've made in one summer we bought Xhaka and Mustafi, which was a lot of cash. It didn't turn out, but we did. Pepe, things like that. So maybe we're gonna have one or two signings like that, and I'd rather have them be in center mid, defensive mid, center back than a winger. So if for that I have to sacrifice that position of that winger, I'm totally game with that. That's where I'm at. And he's versatile. He'll play a number of positions. It's okay.
And we weren't going to talk any more about Willian. Oh, well.
Yeah, well. All right. So real quick, like I said, I didn't really want to go too much beyond maybe like 45 minutes. We're just over 50. So I was going to talk a little bit about Houssam Aouar out of Lyon. I did see a thing that this might be something that Arsenal are interested in, but I haven't really been able to confirm it from any other source. I saw it once and that was it. So scale of 1 to, we'll say 1 to 10. 10 being it's going to happen, 1 being go fuck yourself. Houssam Aouar to Arsenal.
No. I haven't really seen much about it.
I'll put the price tag on it, 50 million euro.
Go fuck yourself. I won't even say 1. I'll just tell you to go fuck yourself. I have no problem with that. You think we're paying 50 million for him? You're crazy.
That's apparently they want 55.
So you're saying we don't? And I'm not disagreeing with Stan, but so we're not going to pay 30. For my opinion, I think he's going to be a good defender in Gabriel, but we're going to pay 55 for a guy's name I can't even pronounce in a French league. I mean, who knows? Arsenal surprised me, not in a good way, but they've surprised me. So,
kind of like your prom date, huh? You surprised her, not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Her.
Yeah. I think if they can convince a buying club to agree to a payment plan, our payment plans that we like to come up with, we'll give you a fiver now, and then for the next 2 weeks we'll give you £2.99, and then if we can convince a club to do that, then we'll take the player, I think. And that's probably one of the reasons why Raul has gone back to Lille for Gabriel, because he probably wants to see if he can do a similar deal that he done with Nicolas Pepe. They're probably open to that kind of a deal. So we're getting a 30 million player, but a bag of peanuts as a deposit, blah, blah, blah,
And I think a big thing that we have always lacked and a big thing that we need, it's one word. Because does everybody know? No. Anyways, leverage. I think every time we buy a player or sell a player, we never have leverage, and it fucks us again and again, just like my prom date. But I think as a club, we're moving forward, and I think we just need to establish better leverage with other teams. And I think Gabriel, we could establish. I think kind of what you said earlier with Sarr, leverage. They're getting relegated. I mean, I think he's on free anyway. But I'm just saying, like a lot of. And we've talked this off air a bunch. There's a lot of players that got fucking demoted to the championship. And relegated is probably a better word. Yeah,
relegated. Yeah,
got relegated to the championship. Why can we go in on those players? We would have leverage. They don't want to be there. They want to leave. Same with Zaha. Again, not that we need Zaha, but there's a lot of players out there where we have so much leverage, and I just think we want. It's almost like we want the challenge. Like, oh yeah,
right now, you know what I think it is. And I mean this, and we're going to wrap up here. So, I think now, as I'm listening to you guys talk, and I'm bringing up these names, and we're talking about money. Remember 2 summers ago, Raul saying that it was a matter of we were going to outsmart the market. That's what I think they're trying to do. I think they're trying to outsmart the market right now.
They did a bloody good job of it, are they?
What's that?
They're not doing a bloody good job of it, are they?
No,
I mean, why would you start looking at, for example, why would you start looking into another league at a player like Aouar, who is a good player, right? Don't get me wrong. when you could be looking at Norwich and you could be looking at someone like Todd Cantwell. Arsenal. It would be a step up. He knows the league. It will be maybe a cheaper deal. You can even do one of those famous Raul Sanelli payment plans to Norwich, and they probably would go for it.
I actually am very high on, speaking of championship teams, Said Ben Rama. And this is going to be another conversation for another time. We are going to wrap it up. But I'm going to make a comment. I'm dropping this bomb. I'm dropping the mic, and then we're signing off. But you know who Said Ben Rama reminds me of with more pace and more forward thinking?
No, don't say it. I think I know what you're going to say.
Any guesses as to go ahead. Who do you think I'm going to say? I've already given it away. When I say I'm going to drop a bomb, come on. Yeah, he does. When I watch him play, his vision, his touches, it reminds me of Mesut Ozil.
I knew you were going to say that.
The difference, hang on. But here's the difference. Here's the difference. He's faster, he's quicker, and there's a difference. Fast is straight line.
My man is quicker and faster than Ozil. She's 75.
But he's faster, and that's straightforward. He's quicker. That's in tight spaces, getting away from people. He is so bloody quick on the ball. His vision is top notch, and he's more attack minded. He's not always looking for that pass. If he has an open lane to take a shot, he's going to take that shot. I like Said Ben Rama. That kid is going to be a stud in very short order.
I liked him too. His game against Fulham he
did not have a good game against Fulham. He did not, and I have made it a point to go back and watch Brentford games just to watch him play. And the thing that it's the touch. It's the first touches that he has because Mesut Ozil has just an incredible touch on the ball, and I don't think anyone will take that away from him. But that's really what reminds me of Ozil with Said Ben Rama. But yeah, I'm gonna drop that, and we're just gonna kind of let that marinate until the next show. So, what do you think, boys? We're gonna just do another quick announcement here. I had it scrolling at the bottom of the screen before, but the date I put the date up there. That is, we're gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna go confirm the date of the first show just yet, but I think that's what
it's up there.
Yeah, it's up there. So if you're around on August 25th, by all means, check us out. As long as we're doing the show, same old Arsenal USA. It will be the four of us. I am hoping to bring on a special guest for that show, but the problem is it's going to be very, very late or very early, depending on your viewpoint of things across the pond. So it's going to be a little tough, but I'm working on it. See what we can do. But it's definitely going to be the four of us on Same Old Arsenal YouTube channel. So if you're not already, please go and subscribe to Same Old Arsenal on YouTube. Watch their shows. They do a great job, those guys. And I think I speak for all of us when I say that we're very excited to be given this opportunity and to work alongside those guys just on the other side of the river. You've
got some great guys on there. You've got Dan Potts is on there.
Yep.
You've got Harry Seymour on there from the Chronicles of Aguna. You've also got the one and only Lee Judges on there as well.
Yep.
You've also got Craig on there who heads up the team. And is there anyone else on the guest side that I've missed out?
They have a new guy. I can't think of his name.
Mark is
Graham.
Mark is funny. Mark's a funny guy. He knows his stuff. And oh yeah, Graham. They get Graham on there all the time, and Graham's tactical noose is just noose. I shouldn't say noose. That's not good. But Graham is tactically just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It's actually kind of shocking that he's not actually that he doesn't work in football. Doing something somewhere. I think he would be fantastic at it. But those guys do a great job. And like Stan, all the names that Stan just rattled off, those guys are all fantastic. So give them a follow on YouTube. Please, please, please smash the like button here. Please, that helps out. Also, if you're not already, please subscribe. Thank you, everybody, over in the chat box tonight. You guys were rapid fire over there, man. It was hard for me to keep up with you guys tonight. Tony, Gail, don't waste the tweet. Steven, Ray, I know you were in there at one point. Scrolling back up through here just to make sure I don't miss anybody. Yeah, thanks, everybody, for being over in the chat box. Everybody that watches on replay, thank you all very much. Check out the links in the description. They will be there for the match day. It's my buddy Dan's shop on Hornsey Road, right up the street from the Armory at the Emirates. And Dogs on the Streets, a charity that is very near and dear to my heart. Over in London, they help London's homeless population with their dogs. They actually just opened a sanctuary for the homeless dogs when they need to be taken in for various reasons. Unfortunately, homeless folks, they do get very ill, come down with different ailments, and they need to go into hospital, be treated. So the dogs obviously can't go in there. So they actually have a sanctuary now. It's fantastic. So if you have any spare change, if you could throw their way, please check out their website, donate to them. Might come back next week, might take the week off. Don't know. Haven't gotten that far yet. So I will, of course, tweet things out. You can always check the channel. If there's going to be a show, you'll see the little box with the logo in it, and it'll tell you that we're doing a show. So other than that, I think that's all I got. Covered the same old Arsenal stuff. Good transfer talk, guys. We could do this for hours, and that's just kind of one of those things. We could just go for hours. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's it. Check out the links, subscribe, hit the like button. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Everybody say good night, Tony.
Good night, Tony.
Good night, Tony.
Night.